all are able to see my screen and hear me, Prabhu?
We can see any,
yes,
we can
Mataji.
hear, but only not verse, Mataji. Only
Okay.
Bhagavad Gita 9.28.
No problem. Yeah. Thank you, Mataji.
Very good.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nasta Prayesu Abhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistike. Reading from Bhagavad Gita 9.28. The chapter is the most confidential knowledge. शुभाशुभ फलेर एवं मोक्ष से कर्म बंधनः संन्यास योगो युक्तात्मा विमुक्त माम उपश्यसि. शुभाशुभ फलेर एवं मोक्ष से कर्म बंधनः संन्यास योगो युक्तात्मा विमुक्त माम उपश्यसि. Word by word meaning. Subha from auspicious, Asubha and inauspicious. Phalehi results. Evam thus. Mokshase you will become free, karma, of work, bandhanehi, from the bondage, sannyasa, of renunciation, yoga, the yoga, yukta atma, having the mind firmly set on, vimuktaha, liberated, mam, to me, upeshyasi, you will attain. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace La Prabhupada. Translation. In this way, you will be freed from bondage to work and its auspicious and inauspicious results. With your mind fixed on me, in this principle of renunciation, you will be liberated and come to me. Purport. One who acts in Krishna consciousness under superior direction is called Yukta. The technical term is Yukta Vairagya. This is further explained by Rupa Goswami as follows. Anasaktasya Vishayan Yatharaham Upanjataha Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam Vairagyam Uchyate. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.255. Rupa Goswami says that as long as we are in this material world, we have to act. We cannot cease acting. Therefore, if actions are performed and the fruits are given to Krishna, then that is called Yukta Vairagya. Actually situated in renunciation, such activities clear the mirror of the mind. And as the actor gradually makes progress in spiritual realization, he becomes completely surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, at the end, he becomes liberated. And this liberation is also specified. By this liberation, he does not become one with the Brahmajyoti, but rather enters into the planet of Supreme Lord. It is clearly mentioned here, Mam Upeshyashi. He comes to me, back home, back to Godhead. There are 5 different stages of liberation. And here it is specified that the devotee who has always lived his lifetime here under the direction of the Supreme Lord, as stated, has evolved to the point where he can, after quitting this body, go back to Godhead and engage directly in the association of the Supreme Lord. Anyone who has no interest but to dedicate his life to the service of the Lord is actually a sannyasi. Such a person always thinks of himself as an eternal servant, dependent on the supreme will of the Lord. As such, whatever he does it for the benefit of the Lord. Whatever action he performs it as a service to the Lord. He does not give serious attention to the fruitive activities or prescribed duties mentioned in the Vedas. For ordinary persons, it is obligatory to execute the prescribed duties mentioned in the Vedas. But although a pure devotee who is completely engaged in the service of the Lord may sometimes appear to go against the prescribed Vedic duties, actually it is not so. It is said, therefore, by Vaishnava authorities that even the most intelligent person cannot understand the plans and activities of a pure devotee. The exact words are Dana Vakya Kriya Mudra Vigyaha Na Bhujaya. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 23, verse 39. A person who is thus always engaged in the service of the Lord or is always thinking and planning how to serve the Lord is to be considered completely liberated at present. and in the future, his going back home, back to Godhead is guaranteed. He is above all materialistic criticism, just as Krishna is above all criticism. Om Ajnana-Timirandhasya Jnananjana-Salakaya Chakshurunmittam Yena
बनारस जा
Tasmai
रहे हैं?
Shri Gurave Namaha Sri
डेट
Chaitanya
बता दीजिए.
Manopishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale
ठीक है,
Swayam
मैं
Rupa
आपको
Kada
मैसेज करती
Madhyam
हूँ.
Vadanti
पूछती हूँ मम्मी पापा से,
Swapadatikam
फिर आपको मैसेज
Vandeham
करूँगी.
Sri
मैसेज
Guru
करती
Sri Yuta
पूछ लेती
Padakamalam
हूँ मम्मी पापा
Sri
दोनों.
Gurum Vaishnavamscha
आप जा रहे
Sri
हैं?
Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathvitam Tam Sachivam
थैंक यू मैम.
Sadvetam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sabrisakhanvitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Krupa Sindhu Vaevacha Patitanam Pavonebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nirajala Nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Balabhadra Subhadyabham Jagannathaya Te Namah. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you for joining today for the Srimad Bhagavad Gita class. This particular chapter is very powerful and very beautiful and very dear to everybody's heart. It's the most confidential knowledge, the chapter 9. And it is exactly in the middle of the Bhagavad Gita. The subject matter is like very wonderful and we all should understand it properly. And I am also trying to understand it with my limited knowledge by the help of Guru and Shastra. So my subject matter on this is very limited. So I need all of your blessings so that next 30 or 35 minutes, I would be able to glorify this beautiful subject matter with proper consciousness. So I seek your blessings. Any mistakes I do during this next 30 minutes, please asking, like advance forgiveness in advance. So in this particular chapter, particular verse, Krishna is saying about how to come to him, what you should do to come to him and how to come to him. So basically Prabhupada explains here in the purport about Yukta Vairagya, then about how this particular devotee can directly come to him, back to Godhead. And what is yoga and what is sannyasa and what is a sannyasa yogi. So with this in the background, we'll just go deep into this verse now. So this particular verse is a continuation of last two verses. Last two verses, we understood how to connect with Krishna. In material world, in order to connect with anybody, we do some kind of dealings with the person. Similarly, in the spiritual world also, if we have to connect with Krishna, we also follow certain steps. So Krishna says here in the in Bhagavad Gita 9.26, how to connect him. Krishna says, Patram puspam phalam toyam. Yome bhakta prayachati tadam bhakti upratam asnasi prayatamanaha. This means making an offering for Krishna, which is very pleasing to him. Like Krishna tells you, like the pure devotee knows in advance that this is what is pleasing to Krishna. So he is going to prepare that and he is going to offer it to Krishna with pure love and devotion. The pure love and devotion is very, very important here. Love, we should have proper love to the Krishna and we should have proper affection to the Krishna. Krishna is Bhagavan. He has all kind of aishwaryas. Whatever we do, everything, like everything Krishna possesses. Like the farmer, sometimes he might be thinking, yeah, I am owning this land and I produce so much nice grain. But in order to produce nice grain, the farmer needs a beautiful land. He has to cultivate it through the bullock and bullock cart. Then he needs sunshine, he needs rain, and finally he needs the seeds. The seed, finally, who is Krishna is the seed giving father. So whatever we do, everywhere, Krishna's presence is there. So definitely when we are using something or utilizing something for our purpose, it is definitely makes sense to offer it to the person who has given it to us. So whatever we do, we should offer it to Krishna. So in 9.26, Krishna says, that little, you can give me little flower, little leaf, or some kind of fruits, or even little water. You can give it to me, but that is with pure love and devotion. So in case of Krishna, the basically you how much like magnitude you are giving the bhoga, that doesn't matter. In what attitude you are giving, that matters. Like we have seen when Krishna went to meet Duryodhan for Duryodhan. That time Duryodhan had to showcase his opulence. Duryodhan has conducted a very grand feast for him, but Krishna did not go there. Instead, Krishna decided to go to Vidura's house, where Vidura offered him very little rice and sag and bananas. So Krishna accepted it. So in case of Krishna, the little amount, the proper amount of love matters. It's not like what you are offering to Krishna. How you are offering, that matters. Basically, our Acharya says the attitude matters more than the magnitude. Then we see that in this particular 9.26 case, this bhakti is very simple. How the bhakti is simple? Because sometimes if the bhakti is not mixed with other motives, if you're doing bhakti in order to gain something, we have some kind of lust in our mind, some kind of desire in our mind, we are doing bhakti. Sometimes we see that demigod worship devotees people do, so that they're going to win over somebody, to get something. So in those cases, bhakti is not simple when it is mixed with some kind of motives. So when bhakti is free from all the kind of 6 anarthas, this is very simple. But when the bhakti is mixed with these anarthas, it becomes very, very complex. Like Ravana, he was doing bhakti to Lord Shiva, but he has some kind of complex mentality. So in those cases, bhakti becomes very, very complicated. In case of this particular kind of thing, so your activity is offered before it is performed. Now, what to do when we don't have this love and affection? Like everybody don't have the pure love and affection like the sannyasis and Goswamis. And as a conditioned soul, we do not have the enough love and affection that Krishna is looking for from us. And we also don't know, and due to our place and circumstances, sometimes the time, place, and circumstance matters, we are not ready to offer what Krishna likes to receive from us. So in that case, what should do? For that also, Krishna also give a solution. Krishna knew that later on in the future eras, like for example, we are in America now, so much cold and everything. Suppose we know that Krishna loves mangoes, something like that. Now in the winter time we cannot offer. So Krishna here, in this case, Krishna says that yat karosi e dashnasi, yat jujasi dadasi yat tapasasi konteya, tat kurusha madarpanam. That means whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, or whatever austerities you do, O son of Kunti, O Arjuna, please give it to me as an offering. So here basically you see that Krishna is very, very kind. He is giving some kind of compromise to us, and he is giving some kind of concession to us. In the Shastras and everything, we know that so many things Krishna loves, and Krishna is as a pure devotee, and as a devotee, sometimes we don't have that adequate love. So Krishna has told us here a concession that okay, that's fine. You don't have a love for me, and you are not offering me as per my requirement. So whatever you do, whatever you eat, and whatever you are performing, any sacrifice and austerities you are doing, at the end, you give it to me as an offering. So in this case, activity is offered after it is completely performed. So let's meditate this one as an example. Suppose Krishna comes to your house and Krishna tells you that I want to honor nice hot halwa today. So what you will do, you will be very, very excited. You'll go to the store that Krishna wants halwa. I have to prepare halwa for Krishna. In your mind, you're constantly meditating that I have to prepare this halwa to offer to Krishna. So you'll go to store, buy the fine groceries and buy the best quality of ghee, and you start preparing. Yes, I am going to offer. So at the end, you are preparing and you are offering. So in this case, Krishna, you know that Krishna wants this, and you are preparing in the mood that you are offering to Krishna. So that is kind of a pure bhakti. So at the moment when you are realizing that you are offering it, that and the action you are performing to go and get all these ingredients and everything, your offering already starts. So you are constantly meditating, this Krishna will need this and I have to do this. So that is basically our is 9.26. Then second offering, then the second case. You don't know what Krishna actually wants and you don't have that connection setting with you. We don't have the proper love. And you decide that you want to eat rasgulla today. Okay, let's eat rasgulla. I have to give it to my daughter or son. She loves rasgulla, or my guests are coming. I'm going to make rasgulla today. So you do the you go to the grocery because you have to eat rasgulla. You love rasgulla, so you will go to the store to buy milk and get sugar, and you prepare the rasgulla nicely. Before everything is done, so before honoring the rasgulla or before giving your kids or your guests this rasgulla, what you do? You offer the rasgulla to the Lordship. Or basically whatever you have, you are offering in your possession, whatever you're offering, you are offering that to Krishna. So there Krishna also is saying that whatever you are having and whatever you are doing, do mother pranam, you give it to me. So basically that part is our 9.27. Now after your offering, is either way you can do the offering. So basically the second method is an indirect approach of reaching to Krishna. So by what happens then by doing this kind of devotional service, one day the devotee will get connected to Krishna. Now what happens of this kind of offerings, this offering? Basically when we are offering everything to Krishna, so what is the result of it? That Krishna says in this particular verse 9.28. So here Krishna says that Subha Asubha Phalam Evam. Basically when we do any action, we have two kind of results, either a good result or a bad result. Like we have papa and punya. We have pious activities and impious activities. So whatever we do, we get some kind of result. So there we have either auspicious result and inauspicious result. So whatever result we get tied to that. So by this kind of offering, by offering everything to Krishna, what happens? We'll become free from this auspicious and inauspicious result of our work. The second part Krishna is saying that mokshashi karma bandhana. So basically we'll be, by offering to Krishna, what will happen? We'll be free from bondage to karma, and basically this bondage basically is an obstacle to our bhakti. Then next part Krishna is saying sannyasa yoga yuktatma. So by doing this too, so what happens? That a person is engaged in the sannyasa yoga. So we might have had different kind of yogas, bhakti yoga, karma yoga, jnana yoga. Here Krishna is saying a different yoga, that is sannyas yoga. So that we will come to later part. The next one is Krishna is saying vimukta. So basically Krishna says here, one second. Krishna says here vimukta mam upashyashi. So what is vimukta means? Mukti means liberation, and vimukta means a special kind of liberation or the ultimate liberation. So what does this highest liberation leads to? Mam upashyashi. Basically Krishna is saying here, by doing this one, you will get engaged in sannyasa yoga, and finally you will get mukti. The ultimate mukti you will get. And what is this ultimate liberation? That you are going to attend me, you are going to come to my abode, you will be my eternal servant. So here, in this particular verse, sannyasa yoga yuktatma is mentioned. So Prabhupada here, very nicely he is describing about the sannyasa yoga. If we see here, sannyasa and yoga here are the same thing. Sannyasa, basically what does sannyasa means? Sannyas means detachment from material activities or renunciation from matter. And yoga means basically you connect with the Supreme. Basically you connect all your consciousness at the lotus feet of Krishna. That is basically yoga. So sannyasa is disconnection from the matter and yoga is the connection to the spirit. If we see that both are actually similar, both do the similar functions. So detachment to matter and attachment to Supreme is basically sannyasa yoga yuktatma. Basically, who is a sannyasa yogi? Sannyasa yogi is not like that you are going to a forest or Himalayas and sit there standing on one feet and eating on fruits and roots and not doing anything or drinking water. That's not sannyasa yoga as per Krishna is saying. Krishna is saying here that basically you are disconnecting from the materials matters and you are connecting with the Supreme. That is basically sannyasa yoga. In that way, you will come to Krishna's abode. So Krishna is integrating here the two words, sannyasa yoga yuktatma. So this person who is offering all his works to him, and such a person will become free from auspicious and inauspicious activity of the world. Now here Prabhupada is saying about another topic which is very interesting, that is called Yukta Vairagya. So what is Yukta Vairagya? So basically Vairagya means renunciation. So Yukta Vairagya means to perform activities in Krishna consciousness under a superior guidance and offering the fruits to Krishna. And Prabhupada always says that one should be smart and intelligent in what to renounce. So in the name of renunciation, we cannot give up everything which can be potentially used in Krishna's service. There are so many object and matter we can use in Krishna's service, but just because you renounce it doesn't mean that we're just going to give away them. So object and person, if they can be used in Krishna's service, why should we renounce them? We should know how to utilize them. Basically, to know how to utilize them also is an art. One who knows the art of utilizing this person and object in Krishna's service and side by side, not attached to that, is basically a Yukta Vairagi. And he is a true sannyasi also. And Prabhupada also says that in the name of Yukta Vairagya, you should not also get attached to everything. You should not accumulate lot of things and tell that, yeah, I'm going to utilize this somewhere else in Krishna conscious services. By doing that also, sometimes what happens, we get attached to it, we attain some greed, and then our devotion life also becomes a risk. So we need to have a proper knowledge and maturity and understanding how to deal with these material objects. So basically, we need to have a proper understanding. We should be mature enough to decide whether this is going to hamper my devotional service, this much accumulation, and we should have a proper consciousness also to understand about this. And we should also avoid the unwanted risk in this material accumulation, so that our bhakti will affect it. Sometimes what happens, like a person will be dealing with the money in thinking that yes, I'll acquiring so much money and so much land I will acquire, and because so that someday I'm going to use it in Krishna service. But by doing this, sometimes what happens, we get attached to the money and we become greedy. That time we totally become attached towards it, and then our bhakti is at risk. And instead that we become very greedy towards the towards acquisition of matter. So in this material world, nothing should be asserted for one's own sense gratification. Everything should be asserted for the service of Lord. Now, here in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Prabhupada is quoting the beautiful verse here. Anasaktasya Vishayan Yatharaham Upanjataha Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam Vairagam Uchyate. That Prabhupada is saying, quoting this verse in this purport here. Basically, one is not attached to anything, but at the same time asserts everything in relation to Krishna, one is rightly situated above possessiveness. So Yukta Vairagya means whatever we are utilizing everything in Krishna's service. So Bhakti, if we see that, like the sannyasis earlier, they were staying in forest, they were staying in a secluded places. So devotees used to go them for seeking wisdom and knowledge. But these days, nobody goes to forest go for seeking sadhus. Nobody go to secluded places. So Prabhupada always says that that's why my Guru Maharaj has introduced the motor cars and palatial buildings for the resident of saintly persons, so that they will attract the general public in big cities. So this laptop, this telephone, this WhatsApp, whatever we are seeing, or whatever buildings, whatever motor cars, aeroplanes, whatever we are utilizing, if you are utilizing that in preaching, or if you are utilizing that in book distribution or any kind of Krishna conscious activities, then that is called Yukta Vairagya. There is a nice letter of Srila Prabhupada. I just wanted to read it out about Yukta Vairagya, what Prabhupada is saying. We might have seen in all the cases Prabhupada is traveling in nice aeroplanes. He's to go to different cities. Like His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj, he is the frequent air traveler. In fact, I think one of the airlines, I think, awarded him to be the most about the most mileage he has covered. So basically, why he is doing that? He is doing it in Krishna's service, in the preaching, and basically connecting with so many devotees, so that they will come to Krishna, come back to Godhead. Here in this picture, we see that Prabhupada is coming in a car, and all the devotees and people, they have come to see him. So Prabhupada says, in this lecture in Vrindavan in April 18 in 1975, that although we are riding a motor car, we don't think it is essential. But those who are captured by the civilization, they think it is essential. That is the difference. Anasaktasya Vishayan, like the verse we just discussed before. Our process is that if we have to preach, we have to go to United States. So if there is aeroplane, why shall I waste my time? Let us accept this thing. So we don't deprecate the material advancement, but we simply want that don't forget Krishna simply for the matter of material advancement. This is Krishna consciousness. We don't discourage you. We don't discourage you, but when you have invented something material, utilize it for Krishna. Anasaktasya Vishayan. Don't be attached to the motor car, but utilize it for going fast for preaching work. That's all. This is required. This is Rupa Goswami's advice. Don't die for motor car. But if you get the opportunity to go faster than walking, you should utilize it. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam Vairagam Uchyate. This is required that everything is engaged in Krishna service. That is called Yukta Vairagya. So basically, Prabhupada also is saying that when we are going to connect to the devotees, and the devotees are, because the devotees are already too much attached to the material benefits, if we call them to a secluded place where there is no facilities, they won't come. Instead, we should make an atmosphere so the condition of atmosphere in such a way that these conditioned souls will come and we are going to praise them. So once they understand the real philosophy behind it, they will realize this motor crash and these buildings are not really needed for Krishna consciousness or for advancing in bhakti. The real essence is loving Krishna and doing devotional service to the Krishna. Then automatically they will become detached from these material comforts. Then often Prabhupada talks about the Markata Vairagya or the Falgu Vairagya. This is kind of renunciation like a monkey. So this is kind of a false renunciation. Sometimes we see there are so many sannyasis. They are basically fake sannyasi. They wear lion clothes, but saffron clothes, but they will be doing some devotional activities, but their mind will be somewhere else. They will be involved in some other kind of material affairs. So those kind of vairagya is kind of temporary. Today they will be looking at sannyasi and tomorrow they will be doing something else. So Prabhupada always tells them that is kind of a markata vairagya, like the monkey jumps from one branch to another. These sannyasis, they're jumping from one to another thing. So basically what the monkey doesn't wear anything. So he sits inside a branch. So pretending to be as I'm aloof of everything, I'm surviving in the fruits and some kind of leaves. So monkey pretends like that. But the same monkey is associated with so many dozens of monkeys, female monkeys, and does all kind of anarthas, all kind of mischief he does. He creates problem to the villagehood and everybody. He does that. So this kind of those sannyasis who or brahmacharis who fake like to be pretend to be sannyasi, they are called basically a markata vairagya kind of thing. So Prabhupada says the renunciation should not be falgu or temporary, but it should be exist throughout one's life. It should be permanent. The renunciation should be permanent. It should not like that today I'm renunciating, tomorrow I'm accepting it. And we should not renounce till we are not mature also. Until one is actually becomes disgusted with material activity. Like the material activity sometimes will feel like a poison to us. And that time we see that this matter is an obstacle in our bhakti. That time actually one should do this renunciation. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Markata Vairagya Nakara Loko Dekhana Yatha Yogya Vishaya Bhunja Anasakta Hana. That means you should not make yourself a so bottled devotee and become a false renunciant. For the time being, enjoy the material world in a befitting way and do not become attached to it. Basically, utilize everything in Krishna's service, do not get attached to it. So now at the end, Prabhupada is saying, who is a real sannyasi yogi? Anyone who has no interest, but he dedicates his life for the service of the Lord. Like our Srila Prabhupada, he has no interest other than delivering us. At such an old age, he came to United States, that too in Jaladut. When we are traveling 2 days to go to India, we are complaining. Like our parents, when we call them, they'll tell body pain will start. Even we also feel at this age, we are not even that age, but we also complain that this is also difficult, that is difficult. We have so many complaints. But Srila Prabhupada, he took such a difficult trip to come to US, and he has while the traveling also he suffered also heart attack. So he has no other interest except dedicating his life for the mission of his guru's preaching and service of Krishna. So real meaning is not detachment from matter, but attachment to the spirit. So that is basically the sannyasa yoga. So when we do this sannyasa yoga, what happens? The devotee gets connected with Krishna, and at the end, he goes to his abode. He gets vimukti. Basically, there are 5 kinds of liberation. There are Sayuja Mukti, Sulokya Mukti, Samipya Mukti, Swarupa Mukti, and Shashti Mukti. But usually what happens? The Mukti means the person gets liberated, and what he does? He mixed with the Brahma Jyoti. Here, Prabhupada says here that by liberation, he does not become one with Brahma Jyoti. But in this case of sannyasa yogi, like when we are offering everything to Krishna for his pleasure, what happens? The devotee comes to me. Basically, he becomes an eternal servant and nitya sadhaka at Krishna's abode. So today, this is what actually I had planned for today. So we saw what Krishna is saying, how to connect with him, how to offer to him. And when we are successfully doing this, how Krishna is fulfilling his word, that we are not getting entangled with the karma bandhana, we are not getting entangled with the results. And at the end, what is happening? We are getting liberation. And what kind of liberation we are getting? We are actually going back to home, back to Godhead, to Krishna's abode. Basically, Krishna is saying, Ma Mupashasi, that one comes to him. So with this, I would like to end today's discussion. His Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. If you have any realizations and anything to share, maybe we can discuss now. Thank you, everyone. Prabhu, your voice is not audible.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, please accept humble obeisance, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji. Very nice class. I especially liked the point where you said sannyas yogi, detachment from matter and attachment to spirit. So both are very powerful, but when put together, it becomes so powerful. So that is a nice term and a nice state to be in, sannyasa yogi. Thank you for bringing that up. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. It's all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you for a wonderful class. Yeah, same with the same point. Just wanted to. It came in my mind like Tukaram Maharaj in Maharashtra. He was also grihastha, but like he was staying in his family life, but he was connected with the Lord, like detached from everything. And finally, Pushpak Viman came for him, and his wife was always fighting with him. So he was thinking, "Oh Lord, may give me mercy. My wife is like this, always fighting. So I am going more closer to the God, Vittal." So it's a very nice example. Just wanted to quote Mataji. Thank you so much.
Very
Hare
nice,
Krishna.
Mataji. I read about this particular pastime, I think few days back. I think somebody sent this to me. Yeah, it was very nice. And yes, the same way also we can see our Prahlad Maharaj and Ambarish Maharaj. They were
Sure.
basically saintly persons and they were kings also. And regarding Ambarish Maharaj, everywhere he will be meditating about Krishna. And if we see in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Jagannath pastime, King Pratap Rudra Dev and his father Purushottam Dev,
Mm-hmm.
Always, they are king. They, like Prahlad Maharaj and Ambarish Maharaj is definitely from different yugas. So that time situation is different. Now in Kali Yuga, these two kings, they declare them a servant of Lord Jagannath. The entire state basically is Lord's property. They are going for any like to attack any kingdom or anywhere for safety or anything. They get anything, they dedicate it to Lord, Jagannath's treasury. So, in fact, when Rathatra happens, he himself comes to do the king himself comes and do the sweeping. This is going until. So, though they are king, in their body, mind, and soul, and the word, actually, they are all connected with
Lord, yeah.
with Lord.
Yeah. We have to also practice like that. Continuously connected with him.
Yeah,
Anyway,
sorry, Bataji. We have also so many nice devotees in our temple also. Always thinking how to serve Lord.
Yeah. That's true.
I don't see Jayaprakash Prabhu in this group. Yeah. So like Jayaprakash Prabhu will be cooking for Janmashtami. All of a sudden, 500 extra devotees will come. No problem, we'll do.
Yeah.
It
That's
is not
true,
done.
Mataji, always.
Radhashtami is cooking. We should get prepared for that. And this Radhashtami, how to do better. No, always you will be meditating. So many wonderful devotees I have come across. They always think how to serve better and how to always serve Krishna all the time.
Yeah, we are very fortunate having such kind of devotees in our congregation.
Mataji, do you know if I'm not sure if I remember this correctly, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had met with Sant Tukaram in his travels, and if I'm not mistaken, he also initiated him. I'm not very clear on this. Maybe
I heard about that, Prabhuji. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was roaming around all over India. So he went and that Ramakrishna Hari. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave this Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. But people were there saying, oh, it's so long. So what Tukaram Maharaj, Ram Krishna Hari, like that. Yeah, and people in Maharashtra, they only say, right, this Rama Krishna Hari. So meaning is same. So yeah, I heard in one of the lectures about this.
His Varkari are his devotees, that lineage, right? Varkari, they go to Pandharpur. Varkari.
Panta, they go to Pandharpur and they just sing this Rama Krishna Hari. But the essence is our Mahamantra only, which they got from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Loknath Maharaj, lot of times he talks about Tukaram, Sant Tukaram.
Yes.
Because Tukaram Maharaj is very famous in Maharashtra.
Yes.
Very assaulted devotee. Santa. He wrote Abhanga. Abhanga means
yes.
he just translated that Bhagavatam in very simple language so that each person can understand. And then people who were like his not supporting him, they put his that Bhagavatam what he wrote, they put in river Chandrabhaga, I think, and then it came out. Means Krishna came with that Abhanga. That's why it means Abhanga means there is no destruction. Always it will be there forever, eternal. So that's why it's called Abhanga. But it is only Bhagavatam in that. So in each state they made that arrangement so that everybody will know Bhagavatam and Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So it's really nice. Mataji, Lal Govind Prabhuji's Katha is also going on. So are you joining? Premasarovar Mataji?
Yes, sometimes I join Mataji, not all the time.
Yeah, Yamuna Maharani is the topic. It's nice, Mataji. Nice. You can watch on YouTube also.
Yeah, I watch it later, not in the same time. Sometimes I watch in the later. Mataji.
Okay, Mataji. Yeah, it's very nice topic. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, can you send the link, YouTube link? Maybe on the weekend I can catch up with it.
Yeah, I will send Prabhuji. Every day I get that. When it starts, you can just join also. You can just watch continuously. You can just listen. I will send just now when it will start.
Okay.
I'll
Thanks.
do that. No problem. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. I just wanted to say that it was a wonderful class. Very nicely, the way you explained and you gave the references of Prabhupada, how he explained different, like, in his own words, like you explained that it was very powerful. And I also like the way you explained 9.26 verses and 27 related that to like bhakti yoga and karma yoga, and the definition of yukta vairagya. All those things very nicely explained, Mataji. Thank you so much for such a wonderful class.
Thank you, Gunjan Mataji. It's all glories of Prabhupada and his beautiful purport.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Madaji, for a wonderful class. Lots of points, lots of Srila Prabhupada's descriptions. Very nice. It was up to the point what to do and what is the benefit of devotional service. It's very good. Nothing else? Anybody? Any devotees want to share their realizations, comments, questions?
Prabhu, I wanted to ask something. There is a nice pastime, I think, regarding purchase of Bhaktivedanta banner or something. Like Prabhupada, somebody told that the deal is final, and Prabhupada, I don't know about that. I am vaguely remembering that. So,
Can you repeat that, Madaji, again?
like when Bhaktivedanta manor deal was George Harrison decided to give it to Srila Prabhupada. So there is some kind of, I think, similar kind of interaction was there. Like some devotee told that we don't want it. Prabhupada told, no, you don't know, we will take it. Something was there. So I thought maybe, Prabhupada that time also told about this Yukta Vairagya concept here, that I'm going to utilize this manner into a beautiful temple. So I'm not getting it. So I thought I'll just share this here. Maybe you can look into that later.
Okay.
Our Samyak Rishi Prabhu, you must have read on the WhatsApp group.
Yes.
He don't put all his life savings and built a temple in Madhya Pradesh.
Kograna. Prabhuji was here in the Prabhuji was a temple person of Tawako, and then Prabhuji few years back then retired. Prabhuji also has some buildings in Vrindavan. It's very nice to hear that Prabhuji was life saving is did into a beautiful temple. It's so nice. It's very nice. Yeah, I mean, whoever would like to go, please join. It's a tough time, but please join. February 19th and 20th.
How much courage it takes, Prabhu. I was just thinking, all your life savings means full dependence on Krishna for a grasti. And of course,
you are
now
the
he's
doctor here, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Amazing.
Prabhuji has a building in Udavan. Also, there is, there are tenants, and Prabhuji also gets a lots of and other things. And okay, so if there is nothing else, then let's conclude then today's session. Is that okay? Okay, so let's conclude then. Vancha kalpatarupasya.
Vaishnaveभ्यो नमो नमः.
Jai.
Jai.
Thank And a
Yeah.
quick announcement: tomorrow is Ekadashi, Satsila Ekadashi. So we'll be having a Ekadashi Kirtan from 5 to 7, and then 7 to 8 our Bhagavad Gita class, and 8 to 10 our Bhakti Rosha class. This is a full package, full day program. So everybody please join, and tomorrow please observe fasting and fast from grains and beans. Ekadashi is very special, and it's very purifying. It's very purifying, Ekadashi fasting. That you can feel that naturally. You will feel that the purity when you take fasting on Ekadashi. So please try to
Yeah, and for this Ekadashi only we can eat tea.
yeah Satsal.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you so much. Please join tomorrow. We'll send out the details in shortly. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prem.
Mataji. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Both.
Thank you.